What's going on, YouTube, and welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, and today we are taking a look up in Buffalo, up in northern New York. What is the latest on the Buffalo Sabres? Another tough season, but they did show some promise. There is some excitement in Buffalo once again, which is really good news for this team that they've sucked for a really long time. So this is really good to see them potentially on the way up. We heard a couple months back that Kevin Adams was going to be exploring the trade market this summer for a defenseman to play alongside basically his child, his baby for the Buffalo Sabres in Owen Power. We might have a solution to that. I hope this isn't the solution. I hope this is just an addition. And we're also hearing about a particular goaltender that could be linked to the Buffalo Sabres this year. So we'll take a look at that as well. So these are all according to Chad Dedemaninis. I'm going to put his name in there for you guys just to give credit where it's due, of the Expected Buffalo podcast. The Buffalo Sabres are targeting PK Subban, of all names. He's been with the New Jersey Devils for a couple seasons. They made a blockbuster trade a couple years to acquire him a couple years ago from the Nashville Predators. PK was drafted by the Montreal Canadiens, spent a couple seasons there. Again, got traded to Nashville for Shea Weber, and inevitably ended up in New Jersey. And the last 2 years in New Jersey have not been kind to PK. I don't know what it is. I mean, there's been a lot of talk, oh, well, he spends too much time off the ice doing things other than hockey, and he had a situation with his, ex-girlfriend, wife, the Olympian girl. So it's just, he's had a lot going on. And I get that. And I think that, unfortunately, it did kind of get in his head a little bit. So I think a fresh start out of Newark, New Jersey, out of northern Jersey, and just start fresh. And the hope was that going to that New York area would help PK. It just didn't work. So the rumor has been, and I made a video on this a couple months ago, the start of my renaissance on this channel right now. Guys, shout out to you. This channel has been blowing up recently. Guys, thank you so much for watching the videos. Like, it really helps a tremendous amount. So shout out to you guys. I don't give you guys enough love. Thank you so much. But really, that was the Toronto Maple Leafs being interested in PK at the trade deadline. Maybe signing him right before the trade deadline. If it was rumored that the Devils might buy out the final couple weeks of his deal, get rid of him so he could go for a playoff run. It never ended up happening. But the mentality has kind of been that he wants to come closer to home. I don't see him going to the Montreal Canadiens. I think that ship has sailed, quite, figuratively and literally. But I do think maybe if it's not Toronto, well, what about Buffalo? Buffalo is just across the river from Toronto. Does it make sense for PK to go up to the Sabres? I do see a fit there. They definitely need some depth on their blue line. So as long as you're not expecting PK to be playing with Owen Power all season and being that kind of the guy that you're going to rely on, as long as he's not in that role in the top four, great. Have him as a 5th, 6th, 7th defenseman. I'm fine with that for the Sabres. You start putting him ahead of guys like Jacob Bryson and some of that other talent there, I think you start to run into problems. So as long as PK is a depth defenseman, I think he's a good player there. And again, he gets to be closer to home. And who knows, the Devils might give him a little extra money, right, as incentive to come up there. Maybe they give him $2 million on a 1 or 2 year deal, right? You got to figure a way around it. But the Sabres have the cap space. They have a need for defense. And again, they have a guy that they could link closer to home. I do think there is definitely something to be said for that. The other one is he also tossed in Jack Campbell's name out there as a potential target for Buffalo. I think they're going to go big game hunting for a goalie. Now, we know the last time they went to St. Louis to get a goaltender, he was the backup. It was Carter Hutton. He ends up coming to Buffalo, and you kind of knew from day one that probably wasn't going to be a good signing. I don't think they're going to go that way this time with Ville Husso. But what if they went for Jack Campbell or Darcy Kemper in Colorado, right? They could go for a guy and get a pretty big name goaltender to kind of get things stabilized. And I think that would be critical. If they got a guy like Jack Campbell, he stays near Toronto, right? He likes Toronto, and he'd get the big ticket money. It's kind of hard to argue with that, right? So I do think Jack Campbell and PK Subban are definitely toward the top of the target list for Kevin Adams and the Buffalo Sabres staff and organization this year. So let me know what you guys think of that in the comment section down below. Do you think PK and or Jack Campbell end up in Buffalo this year? Let me know your guys' thoughts. Thank you so much for watching, and let's go Sabres.